How's it going, my trim people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with week... I'm going to go week 5, I think. 5. I think this is week 5, I think, of the PPL D-League, as this week, your Cotswold Whimsicots take on Frank Trode, I think is how you would say his name. I don't think it's Fran C. Trode. Francie, like fancy? I don't think it's that. I don't think his name is Fran, middle name Clive, surname Trode. I think it's Frank Trode. Could be wrong. But I assume it's Frank. Or maybe Frank? Because I think he's Spanish. I should really... But then wouldn't it normally be Fran if it's short for like... Well, no. I don't know. I don't know how to say his name. Anyway... And his FC Volcoronas, or Volcorona FC? FC Volcorona, I'm pretty sure. I've known about... we're going to call him Frank, because I have no idea what else to call him. I think that's his name. I have known about Frank. His channel will be linked down in the description. Go and check him out. For a very long time. But we've never battled before. He was friends with like a lot of people that I became friends with, or was friends with, when I first started playing Draft. Like Jack, Beenden, other Jack, people like that. Like mainly like the, I guess the European people I was friends with. From like Wi-Fi leagues. I don't really know how to explain this. Anyway, the point is, I knew about his name and I would see his like profile picture all the time on like Twitter. There was like a day of the year where everyone changed their profile picture to his profile picture. I never understood it, but I knew that he was somewhat relevant or important because of that. And that's the extent of my knowledge of him, really. And also, I think he was Spanish. And for those of you that don't know, I have a Spanish surname and some Spanish heritage. So people would I think say things about him being Spanish and me being Spanish. I think. I don't really remember. This is a great intro. This is what you come here for, I think. I don't know. I'm going to ask you about that in a minute, actually. But yeah, anyway. The point is, I don't know too much about him, but I've known about him for a long while, and I'm looking forward to battling him. This should be a really good one, and he seems like a super nice guy, so I'm definitely going to be watching his side of this. And I think you should join me after you've watched this side, obviously. This is the team that we're going in with. So just to explain it a little bit, we've got the classic Sash lead, Frostlass. We have a setup Cobra Berry, Quaquavel. 2 setup weakness policy Mons in Dragonite and Espathra. And then a Magnet Electrode with Terra Ice, I think. And a Booster Energy Iron Treads. I'm just dying all over the place. I hope you're keeping up. Booster Energy Iron Treads. Don't know what that was for. Is that the endgame cleaner? That might be the endgame cleaner. I built this team a while ago. I kind of forgot, and I built it thinking that I wasn't... Sorry. Just giving him a... Oh! Good luck, have fun. There we go. Okay. I built this team a while ago, and I didn't know I was even playing Frank. I thought I was playing someone else. I prepped for the right team, but I didn't know he was the coach of the team. I got very confused. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. So, yeah, that's what happened. But this week, Espathra is kind of juggling with its future, because I think I've brought it to 1 game, maybe 2. I don't think it's hit the field yet. It fit this team because I wanted to bring, like, I wanted to draft a really offensive team with like aggressive speed control, so like Espathra speed boost, things like that. Really fun. But it's yet to really do anything. Oh, he did bring the Sand Slash. That's really annoying. I didn't think he would bring that. That's really annoying because with the Chili Reception Slowking, that gives him quite a bit of speed control. Gardevoir is also here. No Overquill. Damn. So the Espathra set was really built for Overquill. So I'm not going to get to show off the tech as much. It's Feather Dance, Weakness Policy Espathra to Feather Dance the Overquill, make it do like 40%, even if it's like max attack with Crunch, and then wreck it back with a Dazzling Gleam once we're at like +3 ideally. So we're not going to get to show off that tech, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking this is the trade deadline week, so I thought, you know what, I don't know how I feel about Espathra, let me just bring it to this game, and then we can decide from there. And no Landorus Eye, which is Sheer Force, so that's kind of crazy to me he hasn't brought that. What did he bring in its place? Gardevoir, okay. Yeah, I thought Espathra on the last week that I could trade it ought to just come along and show me why it deserves to be on the team, because Bronzong also hasn't come to any game, or hasn't come to any games and hasn't hit the field also, but hasn't come to any games, I don't think. So those two are worth quite a few points. I think something like 22 points of my budget. Oh, did I get that in time? I was too busy talking. So yeah, I kind of wanted to see if, I don't know, if Espathra was worth keeping or if I should trade those two away. I probably should have brought Bronzong as well now I mentioned it, but I didn't. So yeah, the narrative kind of this game is, can Espathra do anything? So I'm tempted to fire off a Wisp. But we could see the Heatran come out, so I'm just going to go for the Spike. I don't know what this thing wants to do. Does this thing want to set up rocks? Does this thing get rocks? It'd be really annoying if it's rocks. No, just wants to Iron Head. Okay, do I go for the 2 layers or do I go for the Will-O-Wisp? I have Will-O-Wisp, right? I think Will-O-Wisp being his most annoying form of speed control looks useful, as he actually just switches out. So, could have gone for the second Spike, perhaps predicting the Destiny Bond. So this comes out, takes a Spike. It's going to boost its Fire-type moves. It's going to reveal Leftovers. Do I Poltergeist or Spike again? Do I think he's Stealth Rocking? Poltergeist would be really good for Espathra. So I think I'm just going to go for the damage. This should do maybe like 30 or so percent. Yeah, 25 to 30 as we go down. But like, that's really nice chip. We got a Spike up and we got some chip. Maybe the second Spike would have been more valuable. I'm not really sure. I kind of regret the Wisp. A second Spike obviously would have been much better there, but that felt greedy. Like, the Wisp felt very valuable. I don't really want to do that yet, so if I go into this right now, my Sword Stance into knockoff, I'm probably not going to immediately kill the Slowking. But I probably can double on a fairly safe. Well, it's going to be Slowking or it's going to be the Owl, right? This would cover both. This less so. So I'm going to make the double switch. I don't think it's time to try and set up with the Quaquaval just yet. He's brought no ground type, so the Volt Switch does look really, really good. So one thing I wanted to say while I've got you here, while I've got a captive audience, actually T-Bolt kind of looks great. Yeah, T-Bolt looks great because, like, even if he goes Decidueye, T-Bolt into Terra Blast is going to, like, really hurt. Maybe a Volt would have been better. But I don't want him chilly receptioning on my Volt Switch, is my whole thing. Because if this is like, I mean, it shouldn't be Spadef, it should be Fizz Def, so. But this just seems like so good. I'm sorry, while I've got you here, I wanted to ask. This season, like, obviously I took a bit of a break before coming back for this season. Oh, this is huge. And naturally, after you take a bit of a hiatus, draft or YouTube doesn't push out the videos you make, right, as a content creator. And I do this as a hobby, obviously. I you know, this isn't a career path for me or anything like that. I think this kills, right? I don't want to get burnt on the lava plume if I Volt Switch, so I think I'm just going to go for the kill. Because I don't think Volt Switch will kill. If he's Protect, like, that's bad. But no, okay, it goes to Decidueye, I would imagine. Yeah, obviously I don't do this for a living. I do this as a hobby, and so how much YouTube pushes out my videos doesn't really matter. But since coming back with this season, I've been really enjoying this season. I've been having a lot of fun with it, actually more than I had done previously in this gen. But obviously the views are down a little bit, and that's fine because, as I say, it's not my livelihood. I don't need to panic about it. I don't need to stress about it. But obviously, as something that I do as a hobby, I'm just going to Terrablast Ice here. It's still like kind of sad when you're doing something and you're like, people aren't enjoying this as much, because you kind of think, well, why am I doing it exactly? And you think, well, it's for fun and for the people that do enjoy it, because I think there is a core audience of you that's listening to me ramble right now who do come back and watch regardless. But that kind of begged a question in my head, which is, those of you that do watch, whether the algorithm pushes me out or not, and that's why I wanted to ask this in this kind of video. And I would genuinely, I'm not someone who usually asks for likes and subscriptions and comments and stuff, but I would really appreciate people's comments and thoughts on this, because it's just something I can't know on my own. Okay, so we do punish the defog at least, which is nice. It's annoying that he got the defog, but I kind of forgot this thing got defog in prep, but that's fine. He still doesn't have a great switch in here. I don't think Thunderbolt kills, so I'm going to have to Terrablast Ice. I could have taunted there had I thought about it more, but I'm kind of okay with these plays. Yeah, so rather than me doing this, say, where the channel's doing well, we're in a league where maybe, you know, I know some of the leagues right now have bigger content creators in them, which are pulling in a lot of viewerships for everyone involved. But I kind of felt like in a league like where we are right now with the channel, where it's just kind of the core viewers watching, the people that always watch my videos. I wanted to ask you now, and for your honest thoughts, because I can't really know, what sort of content you prefer on the channel, because I feel like my battles kind of fall into two categories, right? The videos I make kind of fall into two categories, which is either like I sit here like now, rambling, telling bizarre stories, talking about pigeons and other strange animals, and just generally like kind of chatting shit and being sort of unfocused on the Pokemon, but dipping in and out of the Pokemon. Or what I think this season has been much more of, which is actually just like kind of focusing on the Pokemon and talking through the plays, kind of, I suppose, more similar to what most Draft League players do. And yeah, I kind of wanted to ask, for those of you that watch regularly, for those of you that watch everything I upload, do you have a preference between those two types of videos that I put out? And do I want to just stay in? I think I just want to stay in, right? Could get Mystical fired. It's kind of okay though. I'd like to know if he's Scarf. I'm going to stay in. So he's not Scarf. Yeah, or is it a case of, well, I like both of those kind of videos. I'm happy to watch Aurasphere. That's a shitload. Do I let this go down? I think I have to, because I can't predict whether he'll switch up moves. Yeah. Yeah, so is it a case of I'm happy to watch whether you ramble on talking nonsense, or whether you do like this where you're kind of half in the game, half rambling on talking nonsense, or actually I prefer it when you really just focus on the game, narrate the game, talk about the game. I really want to know what people kind of prefer video style wise from me, because whilst, as I say, I'm not necessarily grinding the channel, I'm not necessarily trying to grow as a content creator right now. That's why I think I just want to put out things that I guess my core viewership, if you like, want to watch. Calm Mind. Why has my controller died? Oh, that was scary. Yeah, so please do let me know if you guys have a preference, no preference, what you guys prefer to see. I've been thinking a lot about kind of Draft League videos, and because the Draft League, for me, like the way we're making Draft League videos has changed over the last maybe 6 months to a year, however long, probably 6 months or so, because I think what's kind of happened, so I want to talk about this slightly, and I think I might upload a update video, which you may or may not have seen before this. It might come after this. I might not even do it, who knows. But I think that sort of for all of last gen and the beginning of this gen, we didn't have, and I don't mean this to offend anyone, I don't think anyone will be offended by this, we didn't have big content creators making Draft League videos. We had people that were focused on Draft League. So people like me who only really uploaded Draft League. There were some people that dipped their toe in other things, but for the most part, we were Draft League specialists, were the people that were uploading, right? And I'm curious, has he got Yawn? Has he got Dragon Tail? What's he got? No, Chilly Reception. Okay, he's going to go out into the Sand Slash. Makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm kind of curious what's changed, because we've obviously had people like PokeAim and stuff who make other content who are, here's a better word, we didn't have any professional content creators really in Draft League last generation. And we didn't at the start of this generation, but now we have people who do this for a living, who are professional, who have to prioritize views. So for example, I've been in leagues and stuff that have, I think jokingly to some extent, but have said things about, well, we're not going to upload this type of content or that type of content, or we're not going to ban this, we're not going to do that, because we want interactions, we want viewership. And I think that makes sense, especially for people that are doing it professionally or who aspire to do it professionally. Yeah, this is going to do next to nothing now. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to have anything to trigger my weakness policy. And because this is a multi-hit move, crits are scary. So, really wish I had Roost, but I don't. What is my... So, I'm plus... This is surely gonna hurt, right? Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Maybe we won't trade Espathra. Maybe this thing's good. Maybe this is the Espathra redemption story. The remontada, I think, is the Spanish word for like a comeback. I just watch too much football, really, but that's what they use in football. Yeah, but so anyway, back to the point. Sorry, I'm getting distracted as always. I think that what's interesting is that I've said previously, like, oh, you know, Draft League content creators, we can be boring, or we don't do enough, or whatever to pull in viewership. And I think that has changed, and that with people like Joey and whoever coming into the scene, that kind of narrative's changing. And I realized one of the big things. I was watching, and I'm sure I'm going to talk about this in a more general video, so I'm probably going over retreading old ground here. But I saw in Vivid Color, when I started playing Draft League, and Vivid Color was my favorite, one of my favorite content creators, if not my favorite content creator. And so I found out he was uploading whatever Joey's league is called, and I watched one of his videos the other day. I didn't know that he was doing it, but I found out, and I was like, oh shit, I need to watch Vivid. So I watched one of his videos. I watched his draft analysis. And he was talking about the fact, to viewers of his channel that hadn't followed Draft before, the storylines that can emerge in Draft League. So going into this video, for example, and this is peeling back the curtain here, the fourth wall, whatever, breaking the fourth wall. Going into this video, I thought, well, what are the storylines of my videos? Because I've noticed this thing that I do when I'm playing the game. I don't even really see my Pokemon on the field, and that might sound weird, but if I watch a video with a Espathra in that somebody else has uploaded, I see it and I'm like, damn, that Pokemon looks cool in the game. But when I'm playing here and now, I don't even take it in, because you can't see this, but I'm playing on a very small game window on my not that big screen in OBS. So I don't get to see it in all its glory. I'm not really soaking in the game. And, you know, I don't feel like we're kind of building narratives around like, like Dragonite this season is like MVP in the league. I don't know if it is, but it was up there at the start of the season. Whereas when you're watching someone like Joey, right, the storyline is that you're getting to watch Joey in a tournament that you otherwise wouldn't have seen him in. Espathra was going crazy. This thing does not want to get dropped. The Feather Dance set, really, really funky. The storyline already is that you're getting to see this character, right? Because maybe I am this to some of you, but I think most of you that watch my videos, or a lot of you that watch my videos, have met me in person. But for Joey, to all of us, is this guy, right? He's PokeAim. He's this character that we see online, but he's not a real, tangible person in a lot of ways. We've never met him. We don't know what he eats for his breakfast, for example. He's a character, right? He's a construct. So getting to see him in a Draft League is exciting, because it's like watching one of these celebrity reality TV shows, right? It's like watching I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here is the one we have in the UK. I'm sure you have many in whatever country you're from. But so that guy that we know from those movies that we love, it's like watching, oh, could this reverse sweep me? No, not with multi-scale and extreme speed and all that, no. We've got very lucky with the paras here, it's worth pointing out as well. Here comes the weakness policy, if we live, which we should, +2 for death, yeah. Oh, yes. Anyway, it's like seeing a celebrity on a reality TV show, right? Because that guy that we know from his Showdown Lives, from his whatever, we're now getting to see him in the context of a draft league, and that is like a competition. It is a competition. Yes, it's still Pokemon related, so, you know, we're not watching fucking Stephen King in a draft league or something. I don't know why I went for him, but some random celebrity. We're watching a Pokemon creator in a Pokemon league, but there still is that level of intrigue of, like, how will he fare against draft league creators? How will he fare doing this? Like, there's that intrigue of the celebrity status attached to him. And so he automatically has an inbuilt storyline, which he is the star of. But to someone like me, or the other guys who only upload draft league that you might have seen, for us, like, we aren't that. We aren't celebrities, really, and it isn't a novelty. I think that's the key word here, actually, that I've been missing. It isn't novel to see us in a draft league. In fact, it's common to see in a draft league. That's the only place you ever see us. So, is it just this guy to our left? Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry, I'm wasting his time. I was just trying to make sure that I didn't miss anything in the end game. Yeah, this is the only place you see us. So, I was thinking, what's the narrative? So going into this game, I was like, well, look, I've been thinking about trading Espathra. Why don't I make this video the Espathra video? Why don't I make the narrative, can Espathra pull it back? And as it happens, I'm a shit storyteller, despite doing a fucking PhD in writing. We'll ignore that. I'm a shit storyteller, so I haven't spoken about Espathra, despite the fact that it did loads and would have been a really fun narrative for this video. Instead, I waffled on about this stuff. But do you see what I mean? It kind of intrigued me that we are both at an advantage and a disadvantage if we are full-time draft league players in terms of this is our only focus. Because from a viewer's perspective, GG to Frank, by the way. Sorry, I've got to finish this thought, otherwise I'll lose it. Because we don't have the inbuilt narrative of it being novel to see us in a draft league, of it being unique and exciting to see us in a draft league. Because you could not watch me for a year and then you'll see me in another draft league. But for Joey, if you don't watch the draft league that he's in, you might not see him in a draft league for an entire generation. We've already seen that, right? So there's an excitement, there's something novel about it, something unique, something new, fresh, and enticing. And we don't have that, but we then have the advantage of the fact that, like, we pour all our time into this, we've got experience in this, so we're automatically, in theory, at a certain level of battling and stuff. But for the viewership, that mattered last generation. In Gen 8, how good you were at this game mattered for viewers, I think. And I complained last gen that the reason views were falling off was because it was boring. But what that meant was, I'm going to cover this in an update video, so I'll leave it here a little bit, because if I haven't already uploaded it, you can watch it. If you have, if I haven't already uploaded it, watch it after this. But my point is, the demographic of these videos have changed from a hardcore fan base to a casual fan base, and with that, people like me, I think, need to adapt if we want to keep doing this and if we care about views. And as I say, I don't from a financial perspective, but from a hobby perspective, I do, because I want to make videos that you guys enjoy watching. So, all of that brings me full circle to the point of all of this, which was, knowing that the viewership is changing, but you remain my core viewers who have been watching me potentially for years now, what would you like to see? Because I don't want to pivot away from you. If the answer is keep doing exactly what you're doing, these stupid videos where you waffle on, and hey, if 1,000 people came from Joey's video and watched this, they would be like, this guy's an idiot, I'm never watching him again. But 50 of you will keep watching every week. I'll keep doing this and keep making the same thing for the 50 of you, because that's more important to me. But if you're like, actually, like, maybe you should try this, maybe you should try that, I'm just really open suggestions. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot. But I wanted it in a battle as well as a general update upload, because I wanted the core viewership's opinions arguably more than people who maybe just tune in for an update to see what's happening in my life. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If you're still watching by week 5 of this season, then you're someone that matters to me, is my point. Not that other people don't, but you matter even more. You get what I'm saying. I'm going to shut up now. GG to Frank. We got a nice 3-0 win. Espathra popped off. I won't trade it away. Maybe I'll trade Bronzong. Who knows? Go watch Frank slide this battle. It'll be way better than mine. Thank you so much for living around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.